Hello everyone, I hope you are doing great. Welcome to my YouTube channel Value for Dynamics. I hope you have had a chance to watch my first video on assembly order. If not, I would suggest you to watch it first to get a better understanding. This is the second video in my assembly order module series. So in today's session I will cover two topics. First is partial assembly order and another is undo assembly order, as well as we can see the transactional impact. That means what will be the impact after the posting. In this session basically we will cover the assembly to a stock, where we are producing or assembly the product and keeping into the our stock, not based on the our sales order. So first we have to understand what is partial assembly order. Partial assembly order is especially useful when we are working with the batch wise assembly production, or even there is a shortage of component, or third we can consider as a resource are limited and they are not capable to assemble whatever the quantity we have to assemble on the assembly order. So they have done the partial assembly production and keeps remaining quantity for the next day or the next batch, we can say that. And second, in why undo assembly order is required. Basically assembly order undo is required when you are doing some mistakes, like we need to correct the batch number, we need to correct the consumption, we need to define the kinds of the, we can say that, some another component into the assembly order. So that's kinds of things we can cover into there. So let's get started and we can jump into the scenario in based on our business central. Before we moving into the business central, I have already created those are the items into the business central, but for better understanding I just giving you a brief detail about here. The this is the finished assembly item and these are the component item, and these three component items we are considering into business central as a inventorial item. Means these are the item we can keep it into the stock, as well as their financial impact will be coming to the actual cost. We can see into the what will be the impact into the our item ledger entry, value ledger entry. So basically segregating the type of inventory, right? In the business center there are basically three type of the inventory item card we can create. One is the inventory, another is the service, and third is a non-inventory. Non-inventory means we normally use the consumable item, right? Now we can understand into the business central. So this is the business central role center. Hope you are aware about that. So let me open the item master, and if we can see that there is the item which I have mentioned into the Excel sheet. This is the basically assembly item. If you can see that the assembly bomb defined here the S, based on that we can uh, produce this item through the assembly order as a understanding that this is the final product, and this is the basically our component item. So in the last session I have already mentioned how we can define the assembly bomb. So For that, you can see that the batch number I have already defined here, right? And the assembly bomb I have specify here. So if I can click over yes, and then we can see that what are the component items in this particular assembly item we need. And if you can see that the milk stick is 5, nuggets 5, packing box 1, and their cost we can also see over the item card. So now let's jump into the assembly order. So we have normally find the assembly order from the search, a smart search, that it's called a tell me what you want to do. So assembly order, and then you can find there is the list we have to create, select over there whatever the current existing assembly order created that could be uh, available here. So now I have to create the new assembly order, so I have to click over the new, and then number series will be automatically come from the number series defined into the our setups. You can see that. And let me define here the item number, that is the final item in number finished good is the 101. And here is the location we have to define so that we can get the stock availability. So for time being, this is the east location, that is the not configured with the warehouse, right? So this is the normal location where we are going to produce the assembly order. So this is the, now I am taking the quantity, and based on the quantity, if component item is not available, then system will show here the what is the which component item is available or which is not available. Let me take here the 500 quantity, and then see that the these are the item is not available if I am taking, because their quantity is 25,000 and 2500 and 500 for the, so those are the item which is not available. System is indicating that available warning here, right? So before that, I also need to change the posting date, which is the basically based on the posting date, whatever the posting date we need to specify, that will become. But by default, system is considering from the work date which is we have defined into the our settings, right? So for time being, I today is the 2nd of the February, so I have taking here the February due date, also putting the today's date, and a starting date based on the 1 day prior, that is also part of the settings, so that come here. Now I am changing the quantity, that is the putting over the 70, right? Now you can see that the based on the 70 quantity, there is the availability is showing. Whatever the warning message was, yes, that is the basically if you can hover the on the value, specify yes if the assembly component is not available. Now component is available, and you can see that all the components item and there the quantity to consume, remaining quantity, costing, and what is the total cost. These are we can a system is automatically calculated over there based on the our unit cost defined into the item card. And also you can see that the total cost, right? If you can see here the what is the total cost of this 70 quantity of the assembly item will be there, and what will be the unit cost also we can see here, right? So let me, there is the, if that value is not updated, you what you have to do, you have to go into the prepare, update the unit cost. And based on the unit cost, why this was earlier showing the different one, because earlier we have posted the some of the inventorial impact or inventory like a purchase, sales, or based on that unit cost also update depend on the costing we have defined into the our item card. Now we have to produce the lot wise, right? So currently I am taking the like a partial. If I am talking about the first topic, partial assembly order. So today there is the assembly order has created with the 70 quantity, but for the batch one lot I have to prepare the post the 15 quantity, right? So I have specified here the 15 quantity, and based on that you can see into the line part quantity, total quantity, and quantity to consume. You can see here, right? Based on the 15 quantity, system automatically calculated the quantity to consume into the line part as well, right? And remaining quantity, if you can see that, that is showing here. And once we will post, the remaining quantity will be also updated. So let's post it, but before that we need to specify the lot number, because the finished item is the lot wise item, that is the tracking number we have defined into the item card. So suppose if you want to post that, so system will not allow. Let me see with the preview posting, and you can see that you must assign the lot number for the item, right? So now I have to go into the order action and then item tracking, right? So for item tracking, either you can define the manual or just you have to assign the if auto lot create is based on the sequential. So just click over there, and if you can see the base quantity is 70, but quantity to handle we have to, how much we have to do, 15, right? So if also this 15 quantity we need to segregate with the multiple lot, so whatever the quantity we have handle here we have to define here and then also specify here, right? So there you can define here the quantity as well as quantity to handle. For time being I am just deleting the second line, okay, keeping the first line, okay. And if you want to see the how many lot are for this item already created, so that you can figure out, and you can see here. Let me post this. Quantity to handle base in the item tracking, assign the document from the 10 is 5, it must be 15, right? So here is the 15, and if you can see here I have defined the only 5 quantity, right? So must have to define the 15 quantity. Now system will allow to post this. And if you can see here, after the posting the quantity to consume is also updated, quantity consumed that is also updated, and based on that you can see that the remaining quantity is there, and cost everything is fine over here. Now either we are doing the second batch is tomorrow, or based on the shift we can define the another some another people is coming and they are saying that assembly is some of the product is done, now they have to put enter into the system. So what they have to do, suppose that here have to do the 25 quantity, right? So if you can see here the assembled quantity also updated, and you want to see the detail where is the assembly, so posted assembly order you can see here, right? And if you want to see the ledger entry, go into the ledger entry, item ledger entry. If you can click over there, there is the output, right? The 18 number, the lot number is defined, that is the 15 quantity, and based on the respectively you can see the consumption item quantity and their cost is also there, right? And if you want to see here the value ledger entry, right? So you can see here the also what is the cost amount actually is there, and what was the actually the quantity item ledger entry and there. As of now we are not posted the cost into GL because we have a setup disabled where automatic cost post to the GL, right? You can see here the inventory setup. These are the disabled. If it is automatic cost posting is enabled, so that could be also there. Expected cost posting is GL. Now I am putting the 25 quantity, and for that we need to change the item tracking as well, right? So here is the 55 quantity. If you can see that after the posting the, now we have to either we have to create the same with the same lot or maybe the different lot, right? So currently I am taking the different lot, and let me see, create the second lot, and here is the 55 quantity remaining, and from there I am taking the 25 quantity. Okay, system is showing the error. Okay, so 25 is here, and for that we need to go here, and because of auto uh, increment into lot, we need to do that, and for that we put here to the 0 or not 0. 15 was there, so 15 we have to prepare. Here is the 55 and then 25. Let's see how system is behaving. Again system is giving the error, so what we have to do, keep here the 15, and because this lot was done with the 15 quantity, so we have to keep as it is the 15, and then that based on 0. Now remaining is 55, and from there 25 we are taking, right? Now let me post that and see. Done, and quantity is consumed. Now first I have to do the another 10 quantity, and for that I have to go into the tracking and then create new lot, and this was the 25 quantity, so 0, now 30, and from 10, right? We have defined here. Now suppose I wanted to change the quantity to consume, right? Suppose I am putting here the 25, system will not allow. And why system is allowed right now? Because 10, 10, 10, 10. Suppose here I am putting is the 30 is remaining and 70 is there, so 40 consume 35. System will not allowed because total quantity should not be greater than 70, right? So here we can put the lesser quantity based on our the component quantity which is actually required to consume. So suppose that I am putting here the 5, right? System will allow, though it's required a 5, right? So based on that you can see that system will update the cost amount. Now I am posting it, And now you can see the history posted. There we have posted 3, right? You can see that these are the 10, 15, and so along with that, if you want to see that the item ledger entry, you can see that 18, 20, 22, and based on that, here is the 5 quantity. It was supposed to be 10, but I have consumed for that for 5 quantity. So you can see that 5 quantity, based on that actual amount is also updated, right? That's ideally it should be 5. Right? Now we have to check the how we can do the undo. So for that, let me go into the assembly, and one assembly order I am going to take that, and that is the quantity of 25. And you can see that there is the option undo assembly. Just I have to do the undo assembly, and based on that, if I go into the here, now quantity to assemble is also updated, and quantity to consume is also updated. And if I go into the entry where item ledger entry, you can see that the last entry, that was the, if I can do the sorting from here, first they have revert back the 21, that is a output quantity, right? And accordingly, this, because this was the inventory was the positive, right? We have increased our stocks, so that is got negative, and rest other consumption item got updated with the actual value. Now suppose we need to post the another one, right? Suppose why it's undo is needed. Suppose we need to change the correction, batch number, and everything. So here is the earlier it was a 25, now I am putting is the 35 quantity, right? And then I have to go into the item tracking, and if you can see here, the 25 uh, lot number also available right now, right? So either if you want to keep the same lot number, you can keep as it is, or if you want to delete that, you can delete that, right? And then create the new lot number. So the first lot was the 15, the second lot was the 10, and now we are taking that 35, right? So 35 is there. Another, I have already shown you how to decrease the consumption quantity, that we have already covered. Now I have to just post it. And see, assemble quantity is updated, right? Remaining quantity is also there, right? And assembly to order, no, that means this assembly order created manual, and there is the no any linking between the sales order. You can also see here, and if you want to see the aesthetics detail, right, so go here and click over there. Material, this is the expected cost, this is the actual cost, variance is there, right? And if you can see here, the total cost is the 910, and actual cost is this one, right? So you can check through that as well, right? So this is all about the partial assembly and undo assembly, as well as we see the how we can reduce the consumption quantity. We cannot exceed the consumption quantity, and also we see the inventory impact into the item ledger entry. So thank you for watching, I hope this will be add some value in your learning. So thanks again.